The NES was a stepping stone for Nintendo to begin their world domination of the gaming industry. From the smoldering ashes of the video game crash of 1983, a Mario-shaped empire emerged. Now, Nintendo may have started a bunch of good quality franchises on NES, but that doesn't mean every game got the new Super Mario Bros. U EX Plus Alpha treatment. There was a bunch of garbage released on the platform, whether certified by Nintendo or not, and these 10 are included in the junk pile. In no particular order, these are 10 of the worst NES games. Where's Waldo picture books are really underrated childhood amusement. Wasting minutes to hours, if you're me, looking around a crowded picture for a random striped nerd was a genuinely good time. Well, if it worked on paper, it should work on a video game, right? No. Where's Waldo was released on the NES in 1991 and made by Bethesda? Yes, that Bethesda, and published by THQ. You are thrown in a screen full of super ugly pixel environments filled with different colored pixel people and told to find Waldo with a decreasing time limit. Now, I wouldn't blame you if you look at the screen and say none of these look like Waldo because it's so hideous, but he's out there, mixed in between his multiple striped doppelgangers. Select the wrong thing and you lose time. Lose all your time and it's game over. But if you find Waldo, it's on to the next level. And yes, you must watch Waldo slowly walk to the next level every single time. The game is basically just this, though there are some mini games thrown in on some levels, such as finding Waldo in the dark, directing him in a subway, and slots. Absolutely none of this is really fun, and the game can be finished in less than 20 minutes. Yes, the locations are randomized, and the higher difficulty shortens the time limit and expands the screen, but it still doesn't change anything. Add in the lack of music, and you got yourself an awful experience. Waldo can stay lost for all I care. Friday the 13th has historically gotten a short stick when it comes to video games. The modern Friday the 13th game, while fun, suffered because of glitches, being repetitive, and a poor live service model that ended up killing the game, literally. Friday the 13th on the NES suffered due to being cursed under the unlucky rainbow. Friday the 13th was released on the NES in 1989 by Atlas and everyone's favorite punching bag, LJN. You play as 6 different camp counselors around Camp Crystal Lake, gathering items, killing various animals and zombies, and saving kids. You know the kids are in trouble because you get a loud and a countdown telling you how long you have left. Gameplay devolves into going to different cabins to perform tasks like saving kids and counselors and lighting up fireplaces. When in a cabin, the game turns into a first-person adventure game where you explore the cabin for things and interact with characters if they are there. Of course, Jason is also wandering around as well and will normally attack you if he catches you outside. If he catches you inside, however, the game turns into Mike Tyson's Punch-Out! This game is very difficult, mostly because it's hard to figure out what to do. You're supposed to follow the plot of the film after being given an instruction to light all the fireplaces, but almost every other second the alarm goes and you have to stop everything you're doing to save another damn kid. Jason also loves to kill counselors, with his hits dealing massive amounts of damage. If you are going in blind, you aren't getting far at all, and you are most likely going to see the game over screen, as made famous by avgn. NES games and beat-em-ups range on a spectrum. You could be on the Double Dragon end, where your version is actually more famous than your arcade original. You could be on the Mighty Final Fight side, that is a great underrated hidden gem. Or you could be on the bad Street Brawler side, that makes bad dudes look like fine dining. Bad Street Brawler was released in 1987, first on the MS-DOS, Commodore 64, and ZX Spectrum, then receiving an NES version in 1989 by Beam Software and Mattel. This was also one of the 2 games designed to be used with the Power Glove, the Mattel-made accessory that puts a controller on your fist and made you look like a badass. But if this game is barely playable on a normal controller, how in the frick do you think you can fight using a prehistoric Kinect? You play as Duke Davis, tough badass who looks like the bastard child of Hulk Hogan and Duke Nukem with his bright piss outfit and the jarring colors of the background and enemy characters. It honestly looks like you're fighting in the world of Doug Funny. The fighting is mind-numbingly simple, with Duke having 2 striking moves mapped to both buttons, and pressing them combined, unleashing a harder hit throwing move. But you can only move right on the 2D axis, making fighting and everything else super bland. You know what would spice this up? Changing what moves you do every single level. Yes, your moves change every level, and it can be quite jarring to lose a good simple headbutt to this stupid twisting throw move. Each level is pretty much the same with few enemy changes, and it's super annoying to lose a life and have to start over an already boring long level. May Duke Davis forever rest in piss. Okay, if you saw the first worst Super Nintendo game video, you know I put Space Ace on there for not translating well to the system, but did you know they tried it even earlier with an even better arcade game? Dragon's Lair on NES was released in 1990 by Motive Time and CSG ImageSoft. Like Space Ace, Dragon's Lair in the arcade is a cinematic reaction simulator with art from Don Bluth about the knight Dirk the Daring saving the Princess Daphne from a horrible wizard castle and the dragon Singe. And like Space Ace on Super Nintendo, Dragon's Lair on console was side-scrolling garbage. The graphics for NES are honestly impressive, but holy shit, why are you so slow? They really made you go through every animation cycle just to make Dirk walk, and oh, I'm dead. This game emulates the Twitch-styled arcade by making obstacles that you wouldn't see coming ahead of time stand in your way. So when you die, you can try to avoid it in the next life. This process is the entire fucking game. You cross a bridge, planks fall that you can't avoid, jump over the loose planks next time, a dragon kills you. Jump over the dragon, wait, that's not what the game scripted you to do. Now you're forced to die against the door. And this cycle continues on and on and on. Unlike the arcade, where you have a chance to save yourself the first time if you react quick enough, your sprite reacts too slow for anything in this game to not be an instant death, besides the small flying enemies for whatever reason. And it's infuriating, especially when you only have 5 lives and no continues, meaning you're gonna be playing the intro bit again and again and again. Trust me, don't fall into the cycle of hate. Avoid this one at all costs. Oh look, another well-known property that fell to the devious hands of LJN, who ended up with a lot of TV and movie-based licenses back in the day. Although superhero-based games nowadays vary quality-wise, they can all take pride that they weren't treated as poorly as XMen in the past. The Uncanny X-Men was released on the NES in 1989 by LJN. In this game, you choose your level and what 2 classic X-Men you want to use, and oh my god, it's so ugly. Like, is this seriously how the game looks? The X-Men look like exchangeable box people, and combined with the bland pixely environment, it's so hard to even see. Anyway, you pick 2 X-Men and you travel across this scene, taking out enemies, grabbing items, and generally just finding out where to go. Each X-Men have their different abilities and stats, such as Wolverine having a close range high attack and Iceman having a fast long range projectile attack. This will be cool, but fighting in this is just one button tapping over and over again. So besides the difference between characters with projectile attacks and not, it's rather dull. While playing single player, the computer controls the second X-Men you choose, and wow, look at that AI intelligence. The computer is super likely to get caught on something or die easily, so why even have it around? Especially fun to give the computer a projectile character that will spam the attack button in the wrong way. Did I also mention whenever you use the projectile, it emits a loud ear-bleeding sound? If I didn't, I'm sorry I didn't warn you before playing this game. While future X-Men games aren't perfect, they can take solace that they aren't as bad as this absolute mess. The Legend of Zelda This Is Not. Deadly Towers was released for the NES in 1986 and was co-developed by Laner and Tamtex. You control Prince Meyer, who is contacted by a spirit wisp thing that tells him that the demons are coming led by Rubus, and he needs to stop them early before they come to Earth. From there, you're put in the start of the castle and basically told to let loose. The overall goal of this game is to gather the 7 bells in each of the towers by beating a boss and burn them in order to be able to attack Rubus. Now this sounds oddly familiar, like the concept of Zelda, right? In Zelda, you collect the 8 Triforce pieces from dungeons guarded by boss monsters and use them to get to a final dungeon and fight Ganon. So why is one game part of a legendary franchise and the other on this shitty list? Well, when Zelda puts you in a world by yourself, it gives you a small map and helps you keep track of where you are, recognizable surroundings, and dungeons that, even when hidden, can be found with clues around the world. Deadly Towers, however, just drops you off like a dumpster baby and tells you to go on, figure it out. If you don't have a guide, you'll end up wandering around aimlessly till you die. In addition, Prince Meyer in his base form with no upgrades is absolutely weak and can only throw one sword at a time on screen, meaning you're going to die a lot. You can gather coins from defeated enemies to spend at these unnecessarily hidden shops, but have fun grinding for it. Honestly, once you get a better understanding of the base map and shop locations, you might be able to have fun exploring, but the difficulty curve is beyond unforgiving, and I doubt most people have the patience to sit through any of it. Oh no. Talking about officially licensed games is one thing. Adding in the outlaw mud show games sometimes adds in an entirely new depth of awful, and one of the kings of that category is Action 52. Action 52 was released for the NES in 1991 by Active Enterprises and was also released in a slightly altered form for the Genesis in 1993. Action 52 isn't exactly your typical bad game. It's a grand compilation of bad games. Active Enterprises head Vince Perry wanted to create a multi-cart compilation for NES based upon illegal bootleg carts to the market to children and their parents as being cost effective. You can get 52 separate original games in one cart, and for the low price of $199. Holy hell! But you know, 52 games broken down is like a little under $4 each. It's probably worth it. Well, maybe if the games weren't broken dog shit, maybe more people would consider it. Every one of the 52 games fall into the following categories: side-scroller, horizontal shooter, vertical shooter, Donkey Kong style platformer, and Space Invader style shooter. All that changes are the sprites and environment, though almost half the games share sprites between who you play as and the enemies. Some of the games have broken controls, such as not being able to jump horizontally when you desperately need to, dying in midair, or maybe just dying if you don't press a button within the second of the level starting. If you're looking for fun in your brokenness, that's missing also. One of the special standouts of shittiness is a 50-second game, XMen, which is another broken side-scroller that Active Enterprises thought would be their version of the TMNT, complete with marketization plans. Let's all laugh at their stupidity. The favorite game of retro gaming internet messiah avgn, and I do mean favorite with quotation marks and extreme sarcasm. Dr. Jackal and Mr Hyde was released on the NES in 1988 by Toho Corporation Ltd. Based upon the 1886 gothic classic about the two personalities of Dr. Jekyll and Mr Hyde, you control Dr. Jekyll as he makes his way through town where everyone is trying to kill him. No joke, these people will charge into him, shoot him with a slingshot, and even leave bombs to blow him up. Jekyll has a cane to defend himself, but it doesn't do anything besides kill bugs. When Jekyll's sanity bar decreases fully, he transforms into Mr. Hyde, where you can actually defend yourself, except instead of villagers you fight random monsters? Oh, and you actually walk backwards through the level until either you kill enough monsters to fill your sanity bar, lose all of your health, or reach the spot you traveled as Jekyll, in which case, Hyde incurs the wrath of God and is struck down. If I lost you trying to explain this game, you probably aren't alone. This game is ass backwards, making you play as defenseless, slow Jekyll to actually make progress. But don't turn into Hyde and maybe have a little bit of fun using fireballs in your fist to fight, cause that's bad. When even the game antagonizes you for trying to have fun, you know you should put the game down for your own sanity. Wrestling games really struggled on the NES. The technology was not advanced enough to really put in as much detail as necessary to make a really fun professional wrestling game, but the ones that tried really did try. It's just more often than not, it doesn't work out, which is tragic, especially when such a game was made about an anime Based on the Ultimate Muscle / Kinnikuman manga and anime series, Tag Team Match Muscle was released in 1985 by Toho and Bandai. Although this franchise was popular in Japan, which led to it being a hot sell, the Kinnikuman franchise was relatively unknown in the Western market, and the few kids who got curious about it weren't rewarded for the effort. The game is a basic endless tag team match where you pick 2 wrestlers and continuously fight other tag teams in differing rings till you lose. That's really it. The fighting isn't very complex either. You can jump with one button and do moves with the other depending on what else you're pressing. More often than not, fights evolve into jump kicking till the trainer on the outside throws in a special pickup, which will allow either wrestler to perform their finishers for massive damage. That is pretty much it. You can tag out to your partner for a different finisher, but that's all you're gonna get out of this game. The graphics are very basic, with every wrestler differentiating by different colorways and slight characteristic changes, and the music is non-existent. Yep, no music at all. It's a shame, honestly. Kinnikuman could have been a strong early anime franchise in the West, but this game has probably not contributed to anything resembling a positive movement. Well, how about one more game based upon a popular IP for the road? Based upon the 1960s sitcom The Adventures of Gilligans Island, the game The Adventures of Gilligans Island was released in 1990 by Human Entertainment and Bandai. Now, if you hear based upon a 1960s sitcom and immediately think, why the hell would you make an NES game in 1990 about it? You probably wouldn't be alone. Gilligan's Island was about 7 people who were shipwrecked on an uncharted island in the Pacific Ocean, and their continued efforts to be saved. Now, when I say that, it sounds like a dramatic show, right? Well, no, it's a comedy. See, their plans always blow up in smoke due to the whimsical nature of First Mate Gilligan, much to the ire of the captain, nicknamed the Skipper. This show ran for almost 100 episodes, so how does it translate to a video game? Well, you control the Skipper to explore the island and avoid animals with Gilligan following you along the way. Mostly. I say that because Gilligan can get caught on things, fall through holes, and get caught in environmental hazards. Now, if you're like me, you probably just go about your business, but unfortunately, no one talks to you if you don't have Gilligan with you for some reason. So you constantly have to find and save Gilligan, or just yank him with a rope if you don't want to be bothered. This is compounded with continuous and repetitive dialogue from Skipper and Gilligan that just grinds and grinds and grinds. The accompanying game isn't much better. Skipper has a jump and a punch that doesn't affect most enemies, so you're essentially wandering about hopelessly swinging at air, while most enemies take chunks off your health. Along the way, you are tasked with finding the other stranded peoples, any useful tools, and finding your way to a boss at the end of each Wait, a boss? On a Gilligan's Island game? Well, yes. This game feels like it missed its window for the property. But since this game is based on a show in the 60s, I don't know what window it could have came out on. Maybe Gilligan's Island on the Magnavox Odyssey? Have any other bad NES games you want me to go over? Please leave them in the comments. See you later. Have a good one.